So, and you read the book when it came out?
When I was like 13, yeah. It's been around for half of my life.
And so, when you heard that this was happening,
Yeah.
presumably you jumped at the chance to do it.
No, I turned it down.
OK.
I got the audition, I was like, nah. And about a month later, I was in bed. Whenever I tell this story, I say that I was in bed and my eyes, like, popped open. But I sleep with my eyes open, so they just sort of widened slightly.
Sorry, whoa.
Whoa. Stop the bus.
Whoa, why have we done the rest of the show and not started with this bit?
I sleep with my eyes open.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Not like Gandalf. Not like, because Gandalf sleeps with his eyes open. Do you know that?
Of course he does, of
Yeah,
course he does. Leave him alone, he's 85.
Is he doing it at this moment?
But yeah...
No, we need to know more about this.
Oh, sorry, I don't know what else there is to say. I sleep with my eyes open. Not like... Mostly it's not fully, it's usually just like...
Oh, so there's nothing weird, then?
Have you always slept with your eyes open?
Yeah, since I was a baby. Like,
As a kid, I mean, I've got two small kids. If I went in the room and they were just sleeping like that, looking at me,
yeah.
I'd be doing an exorcism.
My mum says that I used to do it as a baby, and she was a bit freaked out by it, but she just sort of, you know, she was like, probably fine.
So is it easier? Do we have to try and shut our eyes?
Yeah, I actually find it really hard to close my eyes fully. I feel like my eyelids aren't big enough for my eyeballs, so, like, if I do that, I'm, like, really actively thinking about it. Like, if I'm just relaxed, I'm sort of like... I have really dry eyes. Huh?
What are we doing here? We should be making a Channel 5 documentary.
Yeah.
The woman who doesn't blink.
Sorry,
I have very lively dreams.
Huh? I don't remember my dreams, Ian, actually. No.
Too busy looking at a bedroom ceiling.
Yeah, that needs painting.
If someone did that, if you, say, fell asleep on a train, would you, like...
I wouldn't see anything. Like, my vision is still impaired when I'm sleeping, but I actually have very little information for you about this condition.
It's quite a short documentary.
Yeah.
If you have been affected by any of the issues raised here tonight, please call Graham Norton.
That is fascinating, though.
Yeah.
Dominic, you've exposed yourself as well.
Yes, yeah.
We don't have a picture, sadly. Calm down, everyone. But actually, if you could find the women involved in this story, how brilliant. But we haven't, but go.
Is this me working in that very rather sort of grubby cafe, being a sort of this greasy teenager and wearing my very tight black jeans and entering the bakery early in the morning from a late night out and having just learnt how to make cappuccinos. Cappuccinos had just arrived in England, they hadn't been around for a while. And so I used to make them terribly big and frothy, not how you meant to make them. They were sort of repulsive and undrinkable but at the time. And I put them down. I remember two lovely ladies coming into the cafe and I think I just learned how to hold the two cappuccinos in one hand, which I was very impressed by, and then I had some revolting, greasy croque, something or other. What's it called? A croque?
Monsieur.
Croque
monsieur in the other. And I had these terrible old jeans on which had a big hole in the thing. And so as I was placing them down, shaking and sort of feeling rather sweaty and anxious anyway, that my thing just fell out and just dangled and rested on the edge. And I wasn't aware of it at the time, so this awful look. Two of them doing that exact expression. And it was just neatly resting on the end, and I pulled it in, and it was a horrible moment.
You mean your fell out of your actually fell out?
It did. It fell out and it dangled and rested on the edge. And there was nothing I could do because I was holding the cappuccino.
Did anyone mention it?
Oh, they were repulsed by it. It was meant to be it was a patisserie of a high-class patisserie.
Did you at least kind of go, excuse I?
No, I don't know what I had. I just backed off. We were all so perfect. Enjoy, and then I went off.
Alan, I don't know if you have met the royal family, but I want to talk to you about meeting musical royalty.
Oh.
Because you met Celine Dion.
Ah. Wow. Huge Celine Dion fan.
How did this happen?
Well, here I go again, name-dropping Adele, but, This is the only way I meet people is through Adele. So we got married, and you know that
Not
she
Adele.
married me. Yes, what?
Yeah. No, you didn't marry Adele.
No. Oh, God. She married me and my ex. We're now ex now. We're divorced. And so, as a surprise, she flew us to Vegas to see Celine Dion perform at Caesar's Palace. It was so amazing. So we went there, we're all excited. Adele's like, come on this way, boys. Ah! You know, she's like... And instead of going left, we went right through these doors, and it was nowhere near the seats. And the door slams behind us. Celine Dion is there, behind a beaded curtain. She comes out, welcome to Vegas, how you doing, boy? She does talk like that, and it was amazing, Mina, honestly. And I don't know if you've ever seen her on stage. I've seen her on stage so many times, and, you know, she does the fist pumping and all that. She's actually like that when she talks to you. It's so off-putting. She's like, seeing any other shows in Vegas? And I'm like, yeah. And then I've got this awful thing as well, that when I'm nervous, because I'm a huge, like I said, a huge Celine Dion fan, I end up mimicking the voice as well, which could get me cancelled. But, yeah, so she was going, so, who asked who out? Like this, and then I end up going, I don't know, something.
Now, have you been married 30 years yet?
Not yet. Close.
Very close.
29.
Never gonna make it.
Never gonna make it.
Yeah. Good. And now, in your book, you tell a story of young love. I think you were on your honeymoon in Europe.
Yes.
And you were on you were driving, but on a train.
We went to our travel agent to talk about this. We were mid-30s when we got married. And we knew that we wanted to start a family, so this was like it. We wanted this honeymoon to be really spectacular. Spent 5 weeks in Europe, and it was all over. So we started in Switzerland. We were going to rent a car and then go to Italy. And the travel agent says, oh, by the way, instead of driving around the Alps up and over, you take a train. It's a flatbed car. It takes 3 cars, bumper to bumper, on a flatbed car. And then they put, you know, and then you go through the Alps. By the way, he says, wink, wink, there are 3 tunnels. The first tunnel is about 5 minutes. The second tunnel is about 8 to 10 minutes. The third tunnel is 50 minutes long.
Oh.
If you're a honeymooner, and I said, say no more. I'll give you the little finger. So I told my wife, and she exhaled and said, okay. We're on the train. There's a van in front of us with a bunch of Italian families in front. And behind us, I mean, as close as you are, I can see the people behind us. 2 couples, 2 Italian couples. And so we start going, and we go into the... And it's a massive experience, emotionally and physically. And the wind is whipping through, and it's pitch dark. You cannot see anything. Wow. And it's fascinating. And we come out of the tunnel into the station, and I say to Robin, that's one. We go up, we start again, we go through the second. Pitch dark, can't see anything. We come out of it, that's 2. And she's like, oh, God. We start the 3rd tunnel, wait till it's absolutely pitch dark. Here we go. It's a small rental with a stick shift, and I'm like trying to get my trousers off. She's trying to lower her chair, and we can't see anything. You cannot see anything, so it's all by feel. And it's like, what's that? Awesome. And amazing. One thing I learned for sure is that never be completely nude when transferring from one seat over the stick shifter. Keep your trousers on and do it afterward.
Then decant.
But, you know.
See, funny, I would recommend it, but that's... Sorry, to interrupt.
No, hold on. So we are in flagrante, as they say, and I don't know where to put my hands or something, and my wife is just, come on, just, you know. Now, what's happening is that my eyes are adjusting. I can see her profile. She's a beautiful woman. Love her with all my heart. And I can see her, and it's her pretty face, and it's great. And I think the eyes are getting... No, the eyes aren't getting used to total pitch black. what happened is that we were coming to a station, and we came, boom, sunlight, everything. Now imagine I'm like this, right, on top of my... And I can see the two couples, the Italian couples in the car behind us with their wine. And and the women are going, stop it, stop it. And my wife says those 3 words to you, who every husband wants to hear. Get off me. So I get off, the Italian family, the grandmother's turning the heads of the children, and I'm struggling to put my trousers back on. And I never found out, we never found out, if this was a gag, if this travel agent did this on purpose, knew all along it wasn't 50 minutes, it was more like 15.
15 minutes though, man.
15.
Julie Walters?
What?
Did you meet your...
God's sake. What? Leave me alone. What do you want to know?
Well, didn't you meet you met your husband in a club, didn't
Mind
you?
your own business.
The whole concept of chat show falling apart. Andrew, why are you asking me all these questions?
I'm tired.
But did you go clubbing a lot?
Clubbing?
Clubbing?
Yes, but yes, I did in Birmingham.
Yes.
My mother didn't. Yeah. What's that got to do with it?
But isn't that where you met your husband?
Oh, no, I met him in a bar.
Oh, a bar?
In Fulham, yes.
Oh, in Fulham?
It was full of frightfully posh people. It was full of what we used to call hooray Henrys. Everybody was frightfully posh. And I said, I remember saying at the time, I was a bit drunk. And I remember saying, I bet nobody here is a member of the Labour Party. And he said, I am, actually. And that was it. And then we met, and then he came home and never moved out. He mended my washing machine, told me I needed a pump. I misunderstood him.
Oh, dear. Did you follow a lot of that story, Didier?
Did you? I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, Didier.
You didn't miss anything. I think the lesson learned is, Didier, you're quite right not to go to clubs.
Ice Cube, we could be related. Because, apparently, there's some Irish stock in your past.
No. I mean, it could be. You never know.
No, but you have an Irish name.
Do I?
No shade. Oh, no shade.
Is an Irish name.
It couldn't be more Irish. Has no one told you that till now?
I've been told. But, I think my mother just liked the name.
Okay, because it's your Christian name.
It's my... Yeah, I think.
Listen, Brian, let me educate you to something. Black people are notorious for picking things that they saw one day and say, that's my baby name. That's all that was. That's all that was, Grandma. It was nothing. There's no amazing story behind it. People would love to tell you, yes, it actually came from an Irish forefather that did this. That's not the case. His mother was reading the paper and she was eating some cereal and somebody in the back said, oh, Shay. She said, that'd be a good name for the baby. And that's it. That's how it happened. That's it.
But now, here's the thing. You are here promoting your movie, but Kevin, you're working at the same time. You're doing stand-up gigs.
Double dipping.
Yes.
Double dipping. Doing a ton of stand-up shows. My What Now tour is here as well. Major thank you to the UK fans. The tour sold out in like literally 2 days. So you guys are amazing. Way back when.
Wow.
So we did that. And then after that, we came over here for promo. What Cube and myself love doing is really getting involved with the fans. We love putting our feet in the street and really being active and interacting. So we've been doing a ton of pop-ups.
Yep.
Just delivering the movie, the best of our ability, which is live and in person.
And we're splitting all the tour money.
That is not true.
You got him here. You got him here.
I mean, I'm here.
That's not true.
Yeah,
He bum rushed my stage the other day.
Oh, did he?
Without telling me, he tackled me from the back, scared the living mess out of me. It was one of the most frightening moments of my life, to be honest.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, I would say you don't sound like the easiest of children. You recently tweeted some letters. These are genius. These are letters you wrote to your parents
from
summer camp. Yeah. Okay. So the first one's kind of a form letter. So it's hi from camp, dear mum and dad, how are you? In hell. Okay. Yesterday, I realised that my tent was full of morons.
Oh, my God.
Today, these really annoying kids are bugging me.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, excruciating, boring class begins. I can't wait to go home. Please send me some Mad magazine, something like that. Lovely Miranda. P.S. The kids are okay if you get used to them. Now, this next one is all his own work. This contains drawings and all sorts. It's on Garfield paper. You should know he's taking it seriously.
Yes.
Dear family, hi, remember me? I'm the kid you ditched in the woods for a month. You know how we hardly ever go to Mass? Well, I go every Sunday. Here's a picture to remind you of me. And it's you jumping off a building. I didn't like that. But then the weird thing is, you did get out of camp.
I did. It was the performance of my life. I'm not proud of it as an adult, and if my kids ever ask about it, I'll deny it. But I faked a spinal injury.
Oh, my goodness.
To get out of camp. There was a kid who hurt his back and got to go home, and I went, huh. And then the next day, I was alone with a friend of mine. I threw myself on the floor. I pretended I couldn't feel my legs. And I was rushed to the hospital. And I had to keep up this performance all summer. And I had a fake limp. And I had x-rays at Bellevue Hospital in New York City. But I went home. I got to go home.
Talking of faking things, Emily, you have a story about your dad, John Mortimer, who wrote Rumple of the Bailey and stuff. Didn't your dad come to visit you in Russia?
Oh, yeah. Yes. He came. Yes, he came to visit me in Russia, where I was on a gap year between school and university, and I made him take me to the most expensive restaurant in Moscow, which was at the top of the Metropole Hotel, I think it was called, because I hadn't been eating very well on this. Anyway, we went and he was being so sort of generous and so happy to see me, and he ordered caviar, and it was so great. We had champagne and caviar, but without looking at the menus, and then they brought us the menus, and one order of caviar was something like £250 or whatever the equivalent was, and we both felt absolutely sick. And my dad said, "We have to get out of here." And I said, "I know." And he said, "I'm going to fake a heart attack." And I said, "Oh, that's a great idea." And he started sort of clutching his heart. And I had to tend to him and rush him out of there, and it was brilliant. And we didn't pay.
Yay! Almost nervous to ask you, because Hugh Grant has a terrible toilet story. Was it on a French train?
It was suggested to me backstage that I might tell this story.
Do you not want to? It is a terrible story.
I was on a French train. It was just after Four Weddings had come out. And
I didn't realise...
Yes, because people were being very nice to me. French people kept saying, "Oh, we love your film." And I said, "Oh, thank you, very nice, thank you, thank you." And I was by myself going to some film festival. And I had a terrible pain in my arse. I thought, this is uncool, you know, I'm nodding at everyone, "Oh, thank you," but my arse is killing me. And it then occurred to me that I might have hemorrhoids. I thought, oh, God, it's my first pile. It was bound to come at some point. This will be it. And I became fixated. I thought, I have to see this thing. It's so painful. So I went to the loo on this very modern TGV French train. And I thought, I've got to look at my arse. So I tried it. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. Finally found the only way was to stand on the loo seat, pull my arse cheeks as wide apart as I could, and look back through my legs. I actually got quite a good view, and at that point I realised I had not mastered the lock on the door. And one of these incredibly nice French people who'd been nice about my film came in and saw me for some reason. So it was a bad moment. I feel I've invaded my own privacy. I'll be in trouble for that.
The other thing a lot of your fans like about the documentaries are your voiceovers. You do those voiceovers kind of explaining what you were feeling at the time. You know, I felt so-and-so was tiring of my questions, so I decided to leave. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, what about the voiceovers, though?
No, but you know what I'm talking about, that thing that you do.
I felt confused by Graham's question.
It occurred to me that perhaps he was trying to lure me into one of his comedy bits. In an attempt to disarm him, I decided to say nothing.
Louis' silence caught me off guard. I decided to play it cool and drink some wine.
This was getting awkward. Was Graham simply embarrassed? Or was it true he does have a drinking problem? I wondered if my fellow guests felt as uncomfortable as I did.
I shared Louis' discomfort. Graham seemed distracted, and it was a long time since he'd asked me a question about my book.
Why is everyone talking to themselves?
Paul Rudd, in the AntMan movie, you went to extraordinary lengths to amuse yourself. Or were you trying to amuse other people or just yourself? Actually, this is quite close to that.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect segue.
What did you do?
Well, I was working opposite Michael Douglas in AntMan, and, you know, he's a legend, and I could never completely relax in front of him, even though he was very nice and cordial and sweet, and finally it was his last day of shooting, and I thought, I want to be buddy-buddy with the guy. I want him to think that I'm cool, and I thought it would be funny if, while it was on his close-up, I could somehow recreate that scene from Basic Instinct. Sitting across from him, so I didn't tell him, but I also didn't tell anybody. And before, you know, we filmed the scene, I unzipped my jeans and, you know, Unfurled. Yeah. Not much about unfurling, but I unfurled technically, and I sat down. I guess I didn't really take into account when I'm sitting in a chair, everything kind of like my boxer shorts, everything kind of. So while he's doing his scene, I'm trying to re-unfurl while holding my T-shirt over everything so that he wouldn't see it. And as I'm doing it, he's saying his line, and it looked as if I was doing exactly what Martin says he would never do on set.
Oh, God. You picked option B.
As I'm trying to uncross my legs and it's like trying to. And he's such a pro. He didn't stop his monologue. Flicked his eyes down real quick, looked back at me, and then just finally stopped in the middle and said, "What are you, pervert?" And in that moment, I thought, this didn't play out as I had anticipated.
And you sexually assaulted Michael Douglas.
I did. And it was the whole thing just kind of, you know, blew up in my face. I guess it did.